It is midnight. You are scrolling through real estate listings on your phone, and every single house that doesn't look like it is about to collapse costs $500,000. The kitchen has laminate countertops from 2003. The carpets are beige. There is fake wood paneling in the basement, and the listing agent has the audacity to call it a starter home. Meanwhile, you sit there doing mental math on your salary, wondering if you somehow missed a massive promotion or if the entire housing market has collectively lost its mind. Spoiler alert, it is not you. It is the math. And the math is absolutely brutal. Modern money culture tells us that buying a house is the ultimate sign of financial success, no matter the cost. But in Japanese financial philosophy, wealth is never measured by the size of your mortgage. It is measured by the clarity of your cash flow and the peace of your mind. Today, we are going to calculate who can actually afford a $500,000 house without turning their life into a financial stress simulator. And we will look at 8 Japanese money habits that reveal why stepping away from a mortgage you cannot afford might be the ultimate quiet wealth decision. Let's start with an uncomfortable reality. In dozens of markets right now, $500,000 is the baseline. That does not get you a mansion. It gets you a basic 3-bedroom box. The median household income is around $84,000. We are expecting people to afford homes that cost 6 times their annual salary. If that ratio sounds insane to you, congratulations. You are paying attention. But society pushes you forward. The mortgage broker says you are approved. Social media is filled with peers holding shiny new house keys. The problem is that the financial industry is quietly lying to you about what affordable actually means. There is a massive difference between qualifying for a 30-year loan and actually being able to breathe after signing the paperwork. This is where Japanese money principles offer a profound reset. Wealth is not driven by societal milestones or the maximum amount a bank lends you. It is driven by clarity, sustainability, and respect for your life energy. If you feel like you are failing because you cannot comfortably buy a $500,000 house, you are not failing. You are just being pressured to play a game where the rules have secretly changed. Let's look at the actual numbers, because math does not care about our feelings. If you buy a $500,000 house with a 10% down payment, which is $50,000 in cash, your loan is $450,000. At current interest rates, your base mortgage payment is around $2,800, but that is just the beginning. Add property taxes, skyrocketing homeowners insurance, private mortgage insurance, PMI, and a baseline 1% for annual maintenance. And your true housing cost suddenly sits at roughly $4,167 every single month. In Japan, the traditional financial ledger known as Kakeibo teaches absolute financial honesty. Kakeibo is not just tracking expenses. It is bringing radical awareness to where your life energy flows. Modern real estate culture thrives on hiding real numbers. A Kakeibo mindset forces you to look at that $4,160, write it down in ink, and ask a very uncomfortable question. If I commit to this number for 30 years, who really owns my future? Number 1, the Kakeibo reality of bank approvals. When you apply for a mortgage, the bank runs your numbers and tells you that you are approved for a $500,000 house. It feels like permission. But this is where modern money culture sets a trap. Banks calculate your approval based on your gross income. The money you make before taxes, health insurance, and retirement contributions ever leave your paycheck. The practice of Kakeibo teaches a very different approach. It deals in the reality of what you actually have, not theoretical numbers. The visible cost of this trap is the $4,967 leaving your account every month. The hidden cost is much darker. Maxing out your approval drains the money you desperately need to invest, build an emergency fund, and actually live. The psychological trap is believing the bank acts as your financial guardian. They do not. They are selling a loan. The practical fix is what we call the Kakeibo test. Never calculate your housing budget against your gross salary. Calculate it strictly against your net take-home pay. Banks make money when you borrow the maximum. Quiet wealth begins when you know exactly where your own limit is. Number 2, the mean-eye bleed of homeownership. When we look at a house, we see the visible things: walls, kitchens, backyards. What we fail to see are the invisible costs. In Japanese, mianai translates to the unseen. Modern real estate culture focuses your attention entirely on the visible numbers, the down payment and the base principal. But the true danger lies in the mianai bleed. Property taxes increase. Insurance premiums skyrocket. PMI penalizes you for not having a full 20% down. And the 1% annual maintenance rule means budgeting $5,000 a year just to keep the house standing. The psychological trap is a phrase we all know. Renting is throwing money away, but paying thousands a month in unrecoverable taxes, interest, and repairs is also throwing money away, just with the added stress of a 30-year contract. The system fix is necessary. Whenever you calculate a mortgage payment, add at least 40% to the base number to find your true carrying cost. Do not let the illusion of an asset blind you to the invisible costs draining your daily freedom. Number 3, the Hara-Hachi-Bu mortgage. There is an ancient Japanese health principle called Hara-Hachi-Bu, instructing people to eat until they are only 80% full. Leaving a 20% margin prevents discomfort and protects long-term health. When it comes to housing, we do the exact opposite. We consume our budgets until we are completely choking. If your net income is $9,500 and your housing costs are $4,367, you are spending nearly half your real money on one single asset. The visible cost is the persistent dread you feel every time the first of the month approaches. The hidden cost is the absolute elimination of your financial oxygen. With no margin for life's inevitable shocks, a broken car, a medical bill, your entire structure fractures. The psychological trap is the dangerous optimism that a future raise will inevitably save you. The system fix is to design a Hara-Hachi-Bu mortgage. Calculate the absolute maximum a bank will lend you, and intentionally choose to operate at 80% or less of that threshold. True financial peace does not come from owning a massive asset that leaves you starving. It comes from the beautiful, silent space between your income and your expenses. Number 4, the Ubitori timeline. In Japan, Ubitori is written using the characters for 4 different trees: cherry, apricot, peach, and plum. The core lesson is that each tree blooms in its own time, never comparing itself to the tree next to it. Yet looking at the housing market, we are trapped in comparison. We look at our parents or our peers on social media holding new house keys. We feel an intense pressure that we are falling behind. The visible cost is rushing into a $500,000 purchase at the peak of a hyperinflated market. The real hidden cost is playing a game with rules that have been rigged against you. Your parents bought a house that cost 3 times their annual income. You are asked to buy one that costs 6 times yours. The psychological trap is confusing a societal milestone with personal success. The system fix requires a radical mental decoupling. Give yourself permission to rent, save aggressively, and let your financial journey bloom on its own Ubitori timeline. There is absolutely no prize for making yourself house poor just to satisfy a broken system. Number 5, the false gammon. Gammon means enduring the seemingly unbearable with patience and dignity. It is a noble cultural trait, but modern money culture has twisted it into something toxic. We have normalized misery and rebranded financial desperation as adulting. The visible cost of this false gammon is eating instant noodles in a cold house because all your money went to the mortgage. The hidden cost is chronic stress slowly degrading your health. The psychological trap is the belief that being house poor is a rite of passage everyone must suffer through. The system fix is drawing a hard line between purposeful, short-term sacrifice and a 30-year financial prison. If an asset requires sacrificing your basic well-being, it is the wrong asset. Owning a home should never feel like a punishment. Do not confuse financial desperation with maturity. Number 6, the Chokin illusion. In Japanese financial habits, Chokin represents building a secure, defensive savings wall around your family. Yet when buying a house, people routinely drain every dollar to their name just to scrape together a down payment. The visible cost is a bank account sitting comfortably at zero. The hidden cost arrives months later when the HVAC system dies, forcing you to put a $5,000 repair on a 25% interest credit card. The psychological trap is telling yourself, my house is my savings account. But home equity is highly illiquid. You cannot buy groceries with drywall. The system fix is a non-negotiable rule. Never sign mortgage papers if it leaves you with less than a fully funded 6-month emergency Chokin reserve. Cash is financial oxygen. Do not suffocate yourself for expensive walls. Number 7. The Motanai of life energy. Motanai expresses deep regret when something of inherent value is wasted. We usually apply this to physical objects, but the greatest Motanai in modern finance is the waste of your life energy. When you lock yourself into a $500,000 mortgage you can barely afford, you lose your mobility. The visible cost is staying at a toxic job because you cannot risk a dip in income. The hidden devastating cost is sacrificing your youth, your potential, and your freedom to pivot. The psychological trap is justifying the misery because you are building equity. But what good is equity if it costs your mental health? The system fix is evaluating your housing choice through the lens of freedom. Sometimes renting is the ultimate power move because it preserves your ability to walk away. The most expensive asset you can ever waste is not money. It is your freedom to choose how you spend your days. Number 8, Ikigai versus the American dream. Ikigai is your reason for waking up in the morning, the intersection of what you love, what you are good at, and what the world needs. Modern money culture has actively replaced our personal Ikigai with a standardized goal, owning a $500,000 house. The visible cost is grinding away decades to pay off a bank. The hidden cost is entirely forgetting what money's actually for. The psychological trap is believing the financial industry wants you to be wealthy. They do not. They just want to sell a profitable loan. The system fix requires separating your self-worth from your real estate footprint. Redefine success according to your own Ikigai. If you choose to step off the real estate treadmill, take the difference in cash and invest it in assets that actually pay you. Quiet wealth is not a massive house you are too stressed to enjoy. Quiet wealth is the freedom to wake up and own your time. Now let's pause for a moment. Hearing all of this, you might think the message is that you should never buy a house, or that renting forever is the only path to quiet wealth. That is not true. Owning real estate is a powerful financial tool, but only when the math actually works in your favor. The goal is to use these principles as a new lens. Realizing that choosing not to participate in a hyperinflated market is not a personal failure. It is an act of absolute clarity. It is about taking back control and giving your money a deliberate direction. So, what do you do right now? Here is your Quiet Wealth Action Blueprint. First, perform a strict Kakeibo reality check. Write down your exact monthly take-home pay, then calculate the fully loaded carrying costs of that $500,000 house. Subtract that total from your net income. Second, run the house poor simulation. For the next 30 days, live entirely on that remaining number. Automatically transfer the difference between your current rent and your projected mortgage into savings. Third, evaluate your Harahachi-bu margin. Did you have to use a credit card for groceries? Did you feel suffocated? If yes, the math is explicitly telling you to walk away. Finally, redirect that simulated mortgage money. Use it to fortify your Chokin emergency fund or automate it into investments. Build your quiet wealth exactly where you are today. So tonight, when you find yourself endlessly scrolling through real estate listings at midnight, staring at a house with 2003 laminate countertops, take a deep breath. There is absolutely no trophy for owning a home that makes you miserable. These Japanese money habits are not magic tricks. They are practical, honest tools to help you see the truth of your financial life. Quiet wealth is the freedom to sleep peacefully, knowing your money serves your life, rather than serving a broken system. If this video helped you look at your money differently, please subscribe for more videos on quiet wealth and Japanese money habits. Disclaimer: this video is for educational purposes only and is not personal financial advice. Financial rules, taxes, pensions, and investment products vary by country. Always consider your own situation and speak with a qualified professional when needed.